Yeah, good evening from India.
Well, good morning here in America.
Thank you for accepting my invitation and allowing me to talk with you.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah,
I'm
so
reasonably. I like talking to people, so it's fun.
you love talking with people. I have gone through your website. You're from United States, right?
Yeah, I'm from Chicago, in the middle of the America, or middle of America.
Middle of America, nice. So I have gone through your website. You created two universes to make people to read it.
Right. We call them multiverses. In the comics, I've got Legends Parallel, and then I've got another completely different title with different artists called Hybrid Zero, and they've been doing pretty well. I mean, they put food on my table, so people like them.
Okay, can you introduce yourself to my audience?
Oh, certainly, certainly. My name is Bill McCormick, also known as Bill McSciFi, a nickname I got from Amazon when they screwed up my book account. Which is good because Bill McCormick's a really common name in America, but I'm the only Bill McSci-Fi, so that works out really well for me. I'm a science fiction author. Like I said, I live in Chicago. Um, got a beautiful wife and a nice little apartment, and here I am.
So what do you do?
I'm a writer. That's what I do all the time.
So science fiction.
Hmm?
Science fiction.
Yes, science fiction. I write comic books. I write novels. I write short stories. I'm in about 20 international anthologies. Oddly enough, you're in India. Several years ago, about 6 years ago, the Indian Space Agency used one of my articles as a way to show how children could do deductive reasoning and use deductive logic. Um, I didn't know about it at the time because in India, copyright is a rumor. But all of a sudden, I ended up getting all these fans from India, and people are like, "Hi, we love your stuff." I'm like, "Who are you? We're not released over there." So I found out I'd written a thing called the UFO conspiracy redux, and
Okay.
they used it as a way to use deductive reasoning to prove things are fake. And so a lot of kids learned something that was fun. So yay India, got a little fan club over there for me.
So you'll be studying about aliens and the planets and
Oh yeah, I mean, part of writing science fiction is you have to know the science. For example, when people say that we're like a UFO hotspot, I point them to a galactic map. The Earth is all the way on the outer edge. We're like Anchorage, Alaska. Nobody's coming here. We're all the way on outside. We're nowhere near the center of the galaxy where all the other planets are. And whatever. I try and keep the science honest when I write. When I write my multiverses with my comic book characters, um, they're fantastical stories, and people are traveling from universe to universe and stuff like that. But I still have the actual science behind it. So there's some level of plausibility there. It isn't like just something I made up off the top of my head.
okay. So 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 it contains a lot of logics.
Yeah, you have to follow logic. It has to make sense to people. I can't just say all the blue balloons smell like raspberries and all the red balloons are going to portal me to another dimension. That doesn't make any sense. Um, I use real logic. I use real math. I'll give you an example. I wrote a book called The Brittle Riders, and it's about genetically modified humans who end up taking over the Earth. Frankenstein's monsters win the planet, kind of thing. I spent more time with theoretical geneticists, getting pages upon pages upon pages upon pages of research and learning about this. And in the book, all of that comes down to about 6 sentences. Because I tell the people there's the real science, but I don't want to belabor it. I have to still go tell a story that keeps people interested. And
Mhm.
that just got released as an omnibus edition. So if any of your followers want to buy a 1,200-page book and beat somebody to death with it, they can do that now. It's a big, thick book.
How much time you spend to write a book?
Usually about a year.
Okay. So how many books you have published?
I've got 4 published and one more coming out. Plus, I've got 5 different comic book series in various stages. And then, like I said, I'm in over 20 anthologies worldwide.
Okay, why only comic? Why not other?
Well, I write novels, regular novels. Those aren't comics. Um,
Okay,
I like writing sci-fi, and writing a comic is very different. Like I wrote a movie, and when you write a movie, you can say that you can leave stuff up to the director's discretion. Bob's over in the corner, and he can decide how Bob gets there. But when you write a comic, you have to be very clear about what you're doing because the author, the artist, isn't in your head, and the artist has no discretion. They have to write, they have to draw what you said. It's a completely different way of doing things, and I like it. It's fun. So I write comic books, I write movies, I write stories, I write novels. I write. I just keep writing.
okay, okay. Since how many years have been you writing?
About 10 years now. I
10 years.
mean, I, I
Okay,
wrote I wrote for articles. I wrote articles and
okay,
stuff. But to be writing full time and writing science fiction about the last 10 years.
okay. Science fiction, which means you are making human to believe that there is something and which is not real.
Well, yeah, and that's why it's called fiction. You know, I'm writing. I'm writing about stuff that can be. I'm writing about stuff that might be. So I'm speculating. Um, but that being said, I base it on what is. There is real science behind it. There is real reality behind it. And like all science fiction, I'm making social commentary. It isn't. Uh, no, we don't have giant half beasts, half humans walking around the planet. But I can use that as a way to step back and make social commentary on the political situation, economic situation, and other things. I can hold a mirror up to things that way.
Is this not disturbing the reality because you are saying something which is not there?
Well, yeah, I suppose. You know, I never quite thought of it as disturbing the reality. That I'm not sure I'm that powerful, but I certainly do give people something to think about. And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Uh, I do want to not, like someone said, you kind of have to stir the pot to get the water churning, and that's what I try and do.
So how many people will believe you? How many people got affected because of your logics?
Well, I don't know if anyone I don't know if anyone read my comic books or my books and suddenly believed all this stuff was real. It happened. Um, I got a letter from one lady who thought The Brittle Riders was a true book, and it's not. It's set thousands of years in the future and fiction. Um, and I was trying to wonder where she was living that she thought there were like succubi and minotaurs and everything just wandering the streets, and somehow we missed them. Um, but for the most part, people understand that I'm making a point. I'm not writing a true story. I'm writing a story to focus on a better truth, a bigger truth.
Okay. You will be facing a lot of people who will be telling the negative stuff about your stuff. So how do you give answers to them?
Eh, I don't really worry about it. If people like my stuff, that's great, and if they don't like it, that's okay too. You know, not everything fits everybody. You know, and the only time some people get very vicious about it. They don't just write us. They don't want to say something negative about the book. They want to say something negative about me. And I used to get upset about that, and now I think, nah, that says more about them than it does about me. So I just move on. The old phrase, "Water off a duck." Move on.
Yeah. But you're right, you're saying something which is there in your imagination, and one human's imagination will never match with another human's imagination. But still, you're trying to show something, uh, uh, something, and you're trying to make people to believe that something is there on this planet, something is there in the solar system.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what I'm trying to do is get people to look at the bigger picture. For example, in Hybrid Zero, it's a comic book where consensual sex is lauded and it's a big celebratory thing, but violence is taboo. But the only people who can save the planet are a group of genetically modified assassins. So there's that contradiction and the political intrigue and the social commentary in there. Legends Parallel, it's a mom, her son, and her lover have to save the multiverse, and how that all weaves together, and the children that are involved. And there's a lot of racial tension in that one, and we dive into some deep racial injustice issues, which is playing out in the real world while I'm sitting here. I mean, people are getting killed for no reason or getting paralyzed for no reason, and So we look at that, you can't just look away from it. We deal with it.
So can you tell me about the recent book that you wrote?
Sure. The most recent book I wrote is called Splice, Hit Technology. It's the story of a young African-American orphan abandoned in Omaha, Nebraska. And he grows up to be the world's greatest supervillain. And it's the journey of how he got there. It's the strangest origin story I've ever written. But it's being turned into a movie. It got picked up by a company called Watchdog Entertainment. And they're turning it into a movie. And the book is out now and it's doing well. And I'm pretty excited about it. It's a fun story. It's like what they call near future science fiction.
Okay. So I don't have enough information or knowledge about science, but I'm just trying to ask questions outside the just cover page of the book.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fine. We're doing great here today. Yeah, Splice, like I said, is near future science fiction. The Brittle Riders, that's 3 books. That's way, way, way in the future, like 4,000 or 5,000 years in the future. There's another book coming out called Gopri of the Mist, which is set in India, and it's about genetically modified Indian people. It's fun. That one has got me some really good reviews, so I'm looking forward to that coming out this fall. And then, like I said, I got the comic books Legends Parallel and Hybrid Zero. Those are my big ones. I've got smaller ones. We spend way too much time on that. But those 2 are doing really well for me. They're ongoing series. They're going to be featured this fall in Comic-Con in Africa, in Nigeria. So they're starting to get some international legs. I'm excited about that.
So genetically modified.
Yeah, genetically modified. That means you take human DNA, human RNA, and you mix it with other things. In my book, they mix it with bat DNA, bull DNA, horse DNA, what have you. And then it's bound together using nanotechnology to create a new being, basically they created a slave race. And then because slavery doesn't work ever, the slaves got up and revolted, and they overthrew the world and killed all the people. And literally, my book starts where every human being is killed before you get to chapter 1. It's like, oh, and here's my note. Everybody dies. Now let's get to the story.
Your light is reflecting on the camera.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. So other than friction, have you wrote a book which says about the real things?
I'm working on one. It's called The Kind from Chicago to Chicago. It's a history of the music industry here in Chicago from 1976 to 1984. I'm not done with that one yet, though. And I've written a ton of nonfiction articles for sports magazines, for music magazines, and just lifestyle kind of stuff. So, I mean, a ton.
So people say that even the reality is a frictional story, and the things which are happening in front of you. If you close your eyes, everything is gone because the world is in your mind. If you stop using your senses, everything is not reality. If you open your eyes, it is reality. So what do you say about this?
Well, I think even when you close your eyes, it's like when you go into one of those immersion tanks, where they close it and you just float on the saline. You're still sensing stuff. You're still aware of stuff. And I don't think closing your eyes can make reality go away. You're still aware of it. You can still smell things. You can still hear things. Still taste the air. So you're still aware of what's around you. You may not see something happening directly in front of you, but it's still there, and you're still aware of it. And and sometimes for me, closing my eyes and letting pictures play out in my mind is how I come up with stories. So there's that.
Okay, so you said that a book is copied in India and have distributed. So what is that book about?
Gopri of the Mist. It's part of the Brittle Riders series, so it's about genetically modified people after all the human beings are gone. It's kind of a celebration of Indian culture. I wrote it because I have some Indian friends here in Chicago, and they were like, "Well, you need to do this in India and have some fun with it." And so, with their help and the help of an imam here in the States, I put it all together, and it's a lot of fun. It's a post-apocalyptic look at the universe. It's dark, but I write dark stuff, so people expect that. Um,
Okay.
it's a celebration of a lot of Indian culture, and it has some fun tweaking some of it. So yeah, it was a good thing to write. I mean, we'll see what people think of it when it comes out, but I'm hoping they'll like it.
Celebration of Indian culture. So I'm sure you might have spent time on collecting the information of Indian culture.
Well, for one, I talk to my Indian friends. I have quite a few of them here in America, and many of them are first generation. They're from Calcutta. They're from the South. They're from India, and so that helps. And then between listening to them and talking to them, and then looking some stuff up on my own, and buying myself a bunch of books because I learned through books. I learned through that, and just making sure I didn't say anything stupid. And so far so good. People liked it. There's a wedding scene in book one of Gopri of the Mist that I took a lot of time to put that all together, and it's kind of a hybrid of like three different Indian traditional wedding ceremonies. But I wanted it to be something new because it's been in the future where everything's new. But I wanted it to also be something that people could understand and relate to. So it's like a 4-page wedding scene. It works.
So how good you are as a writer to make people to pull from their imagination and to put in your book.
I I don't know. I think I'm pretty good at it. My publisher who gives me money thinks I'm okay at it. People buy my stuff and they enjoy it. That's always kind of a good sign. I know when I write about stuff, people extrapolate. They try and learn more from it. They try and take it further, and that's exactly what I want. Um, it's like you begin a journey in your mind when you read my kind of stuff. So they're what it is, what I do.
So you'll take 1 year for each book.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So what is your next plans in coming years? What you wanted to do?
Well, obviously, I want to finish the Gopri series because I got one more book on that. Um, I'm not sure. I don't plan that much in advance. I get inspired. I get ideas. Uh, you know, uh, I don't think I can say in 2000 in 2024 I'm going to be writing a book about whatever because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to me, or I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm going to be. I mean, I hope I'm going to be in Chicago, living with my wife, having a good time. But you never know. You don't know where things are going to take you. So I just kind of enjoy the ride.
Okay, there are still people in India and in different parts of the world still prove that science is something which cannot be believed. We cannot believe science because science is a thing which is created by human, and they are showing some historical stories and telling the world that we should not believe science. You should still believe God. There is a God. There is they are trying to pull science down, but
Hmm.
still people like you are still trying to show some presentations and trying to make a world to think about it.
Well, I believe in God. I teach Sunday school here in America. A little cross there.
Yeah, yeah,
So my God is big enough to have science. In fact, my thing is that God gave us all these wonderful tools, to see, to smell, to hear, to touch, to taste, and so on and so forth. God gave us the ability to learn and gave us all these wonderful things to learn, to make ourselves better, to become better. And, we have doctors. God gave us the doctors. God gave us
yeah.
the scientists. These are all gifts from God. They're not opposed to God. They are from God. And I'm a big fan of them. And I'm a big fan of science. Big fan of God, big fan of science.
Okay, so you respect God for creating uh, all these things, and you wanted you believe that there is a meaning for human life, and
Yeah,
we have to do something.
we're here.
Yeah,
We're here to do good. We're here to help others. Uh, we grow not when we grab for ourselves, but when we reach a hand out. That's the biggest strength you can have. And I firmly believe that God put us here to help each other so that we can one day learn to be like God, to be one with God. And we're not there yet. We're nowhere close, but that is the goal, I think. And that's
So
what I
what
hope for.
so what do you say about the human created gods?
I think that's a cop out. I think God created humans. I understand the human created God, that it's a fallacy. But since I believe in God, I don't believe it's fake. I don't believe he's fake.
I don't know whether God created humans or not, but human created a lot of gods.
Oh yeah, I mean, humans have created a lot of myths through the centuries and a lot of trying to grab explanations for things they didn't understand. But that's everybody does that. It's how you get through the day sometimes. And the only difference, like when I create gods, I put them in a book and let people read about them.
Yeah, you are a writer since like last 10 years.
Hmm?
You are a writer since last 10 years, right?
Yeah,
So you are communicating people through your books.
yeah,
So people are getting connected with the language called book of yours.
right. I mean, you have to be relatively well read in English because I don't write in any other language. But
Okay.
other than that, yeah, if you can read and write English, you can read my stuff and enjoy it. Hopefully,
So you have seen world before 10 years. Now, after 10 years, what is the difference that you are observing in the world?
a lot more hatred.
Hatred.
Um, I, I don't know where it comes from, but I wish it would go away. Um, I like people. I have friends of all colors. I have friends of all shapes and sizes. Friends who are gay, friends who are not gay, and I love them. I love having these people in my life. I couldn't imagine hating them just because they're different.
Why this is happening? Do you have any idea?
People are afraid. The world is changing. The world is changing, and people are afraid. They're trying to go back to something that never was. They're trying to hate just because they don't understand that the world is evolving, and we need to grow up and grow with it, and not try and drag it backwards.
How the past is helping you to be good in future?
I hope so. um, I hope I can be good in the future. I try to do it now. I sincerely hope that we can, as a people, we need to be better. We need to be more accepting. We need to be more aware of the humans that we share this planet with. It's a big round planet. We're not going anywhere. If I start running east, I'm going to end up here. So it take me a while, but we're all here together. We're all in the same blue rock running around the sun. We need to learn to live like that.
So have you wrote a book about in which it contains the wars between people, the fight between people?
Yeah, actually, I did. Go Free of the Mist. That's exactly what it is. It's a look at all the different people and how they end up having to come together to defeat an evil, and how they have to come together to grow as a people. And um, Indian religion allowed me to do that because there's so many different deities there. You can pull a little bit at a time, and so you're not hitting someone with a hammer all the time. You can take it in bits and pieces and slowly develop the coming together. And that was a big help for me. So yeah.
So today, internet is giving information to every human being. They are collecting information from the internet. So before you have seen world before internet, which means 10 years before.
Oh yeah, I remember. I'm old. I remember when the World Wide Web, when it came out, you actually had to go and buy a box of discs to put them in your computer to get the World Wide Web. There was no internet. There was just the UUNet that the military used, and to get anything like email or color pictures or anything like that, you had to have this big box, and it was called World Wide Web. And that was
Okay.
www.
Okay.
And that was like the 80s. So I'm old. I've been there.
Okay. So today, internet is ruling the world, and you have changed a lot if you compare
Oh,
yourself with, right?
absolutely. I mean, I don't really use a pen and paper ever anymore. My handwriting has gone to hell because I type everything. Um, I've noticed that I remember things differently now. I used to always know every phone number, every person's details. Now I don't care about any of that stuff I have because I know where it's at on the computer. So I use my memory for other things. It's strange, but yeah, you're right. I've definitely changed as a person and the way I process information just because of the internet.
What is the thing that have not changed in you?
I still like drinking. Um, uh, I think the one thing that has not changed in me is that I always have been one of those people who likes to learn new things. And I mean, I'm almost 60 years old, and I find myself every day waking up going, "Ooh, that's new, something shiny." And so I'm always looking for new things to learn. I'm always looking for new people to meet, new experiences to have. Um, I'm very open to that kind of stuff, and it helps being a writer because then I can learn new stuff. But I've been that way all my life. I've been always open to learning new things, meeting new people, trying new stuff. You know, how I ended up becoming addicted to hot sauces. So
You're good in talking also. You're speaking very good. I can understand what you're saying. Uh, how many, how many marks will you give to yourself as a writer and as a speaker?
um, I'm fluent in English, but I'm conversational in German, Spanish, and Italian, um, and some Japanese. Uh, uh,
I can't hear you.
uh, 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 um,
I can't hear you.
and,
Yeah, yeah,
oh, there you are.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I got you.
Uh, disappeared on me.
Yeah, yeah. You was telling something.
Yeah, I was saying I've been doing radio for like 40 years. I work for ABC here in Chicago, and I do a radio show every week on Fox now about science, oddly enough, and pop culture. Um, so I try to learn to speak clearly and make sure that I'm easily understood because people are hearing my voice, they're not seeing my lips move. You get in the habit of being very, very clear with stuff. You try to be. So,
So why you used a word called hatred when I asked you the difference between 10 years before and now?
well, just look around. I mean, we've got people, especially here in America and even in India, I've seen it where people are, they're hating on black people, they're hating on trans people, they're hating on gay people. They're just hating on people. And it's like that strikes me as silly. It's a complete waste of time, but they're doing it. And now they're doing it more openly. I mean, it's always been there. I'm not an idiot, but now they're out in the streets, they're hating, they're just marching down the streets hating people. Um, you know, I don't get it. I don't ever want to understand that level of hatred. I don't ever want to understand that level of fear, but I do want to overcome it somehow, and that's what I work for here.
Why hatred?
I don't know. People are afraid. Like I said, the world is changing and they're afraid. And they're afraid of, they're afraid of black people. They're afraid of brown people. They're afraid of accents. They're afraid of anything different. They're afraid of it. And it's like, I can't go through life afraid. I refuse
Okay.
to. But people do, and it manifests itself in hate and lashing out and acting like a toddler. We need to grow up as a people, as a human. We need to grow up and accept each other.
Are you a nature person?
Am I a what?
Nature, more into nature, like trees,
Oh
sky, water.
no, I'm not. When I was a kid, we did a lot of that. We did camping and hunting and stuff like that. But as I've gotten older, I like air conditioning, being indoors. Give me a
Okay.
paved road to drive on. I'm good.
Okay. So you will be connecting only with the people who are more into science.
Well, no. I talk to people who are all over the spectrum. Not everyone's into science, and they don't need to be. Not everybody has to read my books. Not everybody has to. It isn't all just about me. Like I said, I like learning from people. I like learning new things. So I'm friends with a guy who here in Chicago who we're speaking of nature. He's an outdoors writer for a magazine. He writes about all the stuff that fish do and deer do and everybody else does. He doesn't care about science fiction at all. That's not his thing. but we're still good friends.
So what do you think about your presence in the world?
I think I'm one of 7 billion people. I'm just a guy who lives in Chicago. I don't know if I have a worldwide presence. I barely have a Chicago identity. But
So what is your goal of life?
my goal is I'd like to make a little bit more money than I am right now. Sorry, get rid of that light for you. I mean, being a writer, it's not the steadiest living in the planet. But beyond that, I don't have that many wants. I've got a beautiful woman that I share my life with. I've got a wonderful world that I get to create and have fun with. I've got people who give me money to do it. It's not a bad way to live.
So you want to work for money?
Well, everybody works for money. Charles Dickens got paid a penny a word when he wrote Tale of Two Cities, man. Everybody gets paid.
Okay. So do you have anything to say to my audience and at the same time the people who watches this video on YouTube?
Well, hello and welcome to my multiverse, and thank you for inviting me into yours. I hope you get to check out my stuff, and even if you don't, it was nice saying hi to everybody.
Definitely. Can you tell? Yeah, can you tell about your books so that they'll search your books and where they can get your books?
Sure. I have everything on a single website, so I make it real easy for people. You go to Bill McSciFi, MCSCIFI.com, and you'll find books, you'll find novels, you'll find comic books, you can buy T-shirts there too, if you want a T-shirt. You can you can get pretty much everything up there because a lot of the stuff is print on demand from Amazon. So if you're in Amazon India, it'll just take you to that website and you can buy the stuff there. So you're good to go.
I will put the link of yours in the description of this video so that people who wants to buy things or wants to know about you, about your books, they can find you easily. Yeah.
Right, and you can contact me through the website too. So if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. I'm easy to.
Definitely. Thank you for giving your valuable time and telling about a lot of things.
All right, well, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I really had fun. By the way, I like your hair. It's very cool.
Thank you, man. So, can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your
Absolutely.
permission?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks again.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.